What's up, you little bad bitch? We're back. I got a motherfucking 64 on my exam out of 100, and I am feeling shitty. So, let's get to it, boys! That's right. For my international audience members, 62 is not a pass, man. Gotta have a C or higher in order to go to the next class. Yo, y'all, you know that that higher education in other countries is not just fucking usually free, but also it's usually easier? Dude, fuck me. If there's an advantage to living in America, I'm fucking still looking for it. I've been to 5 countries, man. I can say that shit. But yeah, on the international market, higher education here in America is actually more highly valued on the job market. I've looked at a couple of different reports about this, and it seems to pretty much be the case across the board. And maybe it's just because your average American college student has had to do so much in order to just go to college. They've had to make quadrillions of dollars. Fuck me! That fucking Granfalloon fucking fucked me up. Did you guys see that shit? Ugh. Oh, I'm gonna have to take him out from a distance. Do I even have the arrows for that? I've got some arrows. I want more arrows. I can't have them because I need my souls back. Whatever, we'll figure it out. We'll find a way. I gotta go fight this motherfucker again so he doesn't come up behind me and give me the old concho. Hey, y'all been to Japan? To Nippon? Anybody else in the audience been on the receiving end of a concho? I went to Japan for 9 whole days on vacation. 9 whole days. You bastard! Look! He took his fucking loot with him. Prick. So yeah, like I said, I was stationed down there in South Korea, and whenever you're in South Korea, there are fucking places in South Korea where you can hit Japan with a rock if you throw it hard enough. So since I was already so close to Japan, you know, I had long grown out of my weeb stage, which was like mainly me as like a teenager and stuff. And, you know, I grew up like in a trailer park and shit, like poor as hell. And so my weeb stage, like I wasn't a good weeb because being a weeb cost money. It costed money back in the day. You could like fucking pirate a bunch of anime and shit and like download it on, I don't know, Napster, LimeWire, you know. So you could like download it on stuff like that. But even having a computer back in the day was pretty bad. It was pretty expensive. This was back in the days where computers were in the computer room. Dial-up internet. I remember the days before internet, and no, I don't know what we did all the time. I have no fucking idea what we did without the internet. I remember having to print out MapQuest directions. If you printed out the MapQuest direction to get to your location, but you did not print out the MapQuest directions to get back from your location, sometimes that would become its own problem. I remember one time I was stuck on the interstate for like 2 hours because I didn't print out the MapQuest directions to get back from somewhere I wanted to be. But yeah, you know, having a computer at all was expensive. Having a computer that could access the internet was expensive. Like, the whole thing was expensive. Hook, line, and sinker. There was no easy way around it. So, you know, going to Japan, traveling was expensive. You know, getting stuff from Japan, ordering it on like an online catalog and shit or like from a catalog because this shit, like, mainly wasn't online. Like, most things weren't online. It was just way too difficult to be a weeb. See, it's just like, whatever the fuck came up on Cartoon Network, that was me. So there was a lot of stuff that happened because we didn't have any money. I couldn't, like, develop I couldn't get into an in-group. I couldn't, like, develop a personality. It was so strange. So it's like rich people don't even want poor people around because they're not good to talk to. they don't, you know, like, they can't even develop a personality back in the day. Now, things like the Internet of Things is shrinking the world quite a bit. And now Elon Musk is out there. He was briefly the richest man in the world for a little while there. And still, like, he's out there shitting and farting out all of his maymays and whatnot. And so, like, the Internet of Things is shrinking the world, and we're starting to finally speak one another's language on a global scale, which means that more and more people have to do more and more things to separate us. But that's all besides the point. Either way, so yeah, I was a weeb, but I was a bad weeb, and so I never, like, got really super far into things. And so, like it took a while. I needed a reason to go to Japan besides, like, you know, I want to go to Japan. You know, it's a cool place with cool people and whatnot. That's Soul Ray, probably. Not wearing my fragrant ring. What am I wearing? Regenerator. Okay. So finally I went down to Japan. I have personally never been on the receiving end of a concho. It's a thing where they stick their fingers in your butt. It's really... It's a cultural thing, okay? Sexual assault is okay in other countries. They got different laws. I mean, like I joke, but like it's true. It's just a prank. So I've read a couple of English as a second language teachers that took up residence in Japan and was on the receiving end of a couple of conchos. Filthy Frank back in the old YouTube days, he used to. He had at least one video about the old concho, and you can every now and again you can spot some YouTube videos and stuff of people being on the receiving end of this particular harmless prank. It's harmful to everybody. the pranker gets his fucking fingers broken. The prankee is traumatized for life. it's like I said, it's a different world, all right? It's a different country, it's a different world. But yeah, I went down there for 9 days. I needed a reason to go down there other than like, hey, I want to go see Japan for any reason, or hey, I like Japan stuff and I'm a big weeb or whatever. So I actually went down there in order to pay back my two best friends in the world at that point in time. I felt like I owed them. So I grew up with a lot of like Catholic guilt, even though I wasn't in a Catholic household. My mother wielded guilt like a weapon. She wielded guilt like it was a weapon that was being wielded by something off of Doom Eternal. She wielded guilt like a fucking like medieval flail. It's still like her favorite thing is to whip out a little bit of guilt from time to time and just give you a complex. And that's me. I've got lots of things wrong with my head, and I had to take lots of pills for it. And I went to the madhouse, and I had to do daily therapy for over a year for it. These types of things prove positive that at the end of the day, that shit did mess me up. Yeah! No! I missed! No! Doesn't matter. I can go and get my arrows now at least. Because just about every one of these gargoyles keeps dropping off a soul for me. This is new stuff? Damn. The white bow. Extremely high attack power. So I can do 21 of these or 19 of these.
Yep, that's good. You can thank me later.
Alright. Yeah! Yeah, I should have repaired. Whatever. What up, ho? Let me see. Get rid of these. Flamberg. Out of here. How good is this thing? Physical power 10, magical power 40. That's weird. 75. 60. I'll take the heavy. Fuck the magical power. I don't think it's going to come in handy. Alright. Okay. Slows the whatever by weapons. Okay. Whatever. Alright. Yeah. Now we got some goodies, boys. Got some goodies, boys. Alright. I like this game. It's fun. It's fun to me. I enjoy the punishment. Masochistic that way. So at the time, I thought that I had to like pay back my best friends for fucking putting up with me all those years, you know. But, you know, in reality, they weren't fucking putting up with me. And I'm a regular dude, you know. When people have problems, diagnosed or otherwise, it's not like, you know, that I was, you know, disabled in some way, shape, or form in the classical sense of the term. They weren't changing my diapers. They weren't wiping my shit. They weren't, you know, carrying me back and forth places because I can't move. Like, I was a normal guy. They engaged in conversation with me and such, and I didn't even spend the whole time like complaining about my situation, which was particularly bad, you know. So I didn't need to pay these people back, but at the time I thought differently. So because of that, that was my reason to go to Japan, to take them out there. And I really fucking bit off more than I could chew. I was just like, all expenses paid, I'll take you guys out there and everything on a fucking, like, E3 in the military's paycheck, like, straight out of boot camp, pretty much. It's like, you know, couldn't afford regular shit. But, that's what I promised, and that eventually became like, well, you know, I maybe can't pay for your plane tickets, but, you know, I can pay for all your meals whenever you get here, and the hotel and everything. And then that became like, well, I can pay for the hotel if you guys want to come to Japan. Which, one of my friends was pissed about it, but the other one was fine because he was this humongous weeb, you know. So one was pissed, the other one was fine. So we went down there to Japan. I was only down there for about 9 days. I had my own little thing for it. There were so many misconceptions. I had been in Korea for quite some time at that juncture. So I just, you know, figured that Japan was just like another Korea, you know? Like, it didn't matter. For reference, see, there's a good boy. He went ahead and dropped off all those goodies on land before he fell into the sky. Anyways, so Korea, South Korea, for the uninitiated, is an entire country the size of Indiana, which is one of the United States. People think that countries are a little bit larger than they usually are, but actually, the United States of America is one of the biggest. It's also why we're the United States. And why the European Union, like Europe, is bigger than America. But the European Union still maintains that each individual country is a country and not a state inside the United States. Remember, we had to do war with ourselves after defeating Britain to win our independence in order for us to ever be the United States of America. And still, like Hawaii and Alaska, it took a long time for them to get included in with the rest of the mix. So yeah. So whatever. So South Korea is the size of Indiana. So it's one landmass. It's the whole thing is just one landmass. And I guess I had never looked at a map because I thought that, Japan's got to be like the same shit, different day, right? I thought Japan was just like one place. No, Japan is a series of islands. And so I took the something or the other ferry coming out of Busan, South Korea, and I came down there to Japan, and I landed in Fukuoka. Fukuoka is known for very few things. It's kind of a rural area. It's got its own famous local thingamajig, and I can't remember what it is. Maybe it's ramen, maybe it's something else, I don't remember. But it does have a thing that it's famous for, but still, it's kind of a niche thing. You're not going to Fukuoka to experience Japan, for the most part. And of course, I had made a reservation at the New Sano Hotel, which is in Tokyo. Because if you're going to go to a country, why not go to the capital? That's what I thought at the time. That may or may not be good advice overall, but that's what I thought at the time. The New Sano Hotel is specifically for military folk, and you need an ID to get in, to check in, and all this other kind of stuff. It closes at night, there's armed guards, and everything. And because it caters to military folk, it is cheaper than every other place. And so I made my reservations there. So that was the way that it was. And so I landed in Fukuoka, and there was one other guy. There was one other guy on the ferry from Korea to Fukuoka in Japan. That one other guy that was there was Canadian, and he was the only other guy that spoke English. And he was this humongous nerd. And so the entire time that I'm on the ferry trying to make it over there, I was like avoiding him because we had nothing in common. I'm like, oh God, I don't want to get stuck in a conversation with this guy for like 24 hours, because it was an overnight ferry. Let's see, I had seen the two ferries to Japan. One was the Beetle, aero ship, air something. And the other one was this overnight thing. The Beetle was like $110, but the overnight ferry was only it was only $90. So I was like, ooh, I'm gonna save a bunch of money by doing this. So it took like fucking forever because it's primarily a cargo ship, and the passengers are just in their own little portion. Had a Sapporo from the beer vending machine on the ship because, hey, I'd never seen a beer vending machine. And then realized that Sapporo's fucking disgusting. I hate beer generally, but man, Sapporo fucking tastes like goddamn carbonated sewage water. If you like Sapporo, that makes you a bad person. I don't make the rules, okay? It's fucking awful. So, like, I puttered around for like 4 hours, checking it out, checking out the place, and then finally I'm like, well, you know, let me see whether or not we've let's see how close to Japan we are, and we hadn't fucking left the dock. I was like, fuck, what the fuck is going on around here? So anyway, I landed in Fukuoka, and I'm like looking around, and I'm like, hey, the Canadian guy, I'm like, hey, where's the subway station? He's like, over here, I'm taking the subway. I was like, oh, okay. And then like I puttered around, got my stuff, and then like caught up with him at the subway, and I was like, okay, you know, how do I get to you know, which subway goes to Tokyo? That's where my hotel is. There's the fragrant ring that we started the game with. Like I said, you will eventually get all of the different things. No class starts with a special thing that is unobtainable by any other class. Damn it. Whatever. So, back to the regenerator. Yeah. Take it off every time I get the chance. Don't even notice. So I'm out there in Fukuoka, and I'm just like, you know, hey, Canadian guy that I've been, you know, avoiding this entire time. I said, like, you know, which, you know, where's Tokyo on the stops on the subway? Which subway gets to Tokyo? He's like, no subway gets to Tokyo. I was like, what do you mean no subway gets to Tokyo? He's just like, you're in Fukuoka. And I was like, and? And he has this moment of realization that the person that he's talking to is fucking really dumb. he's like, oh my god. He's like, you do know that Japan is a series of islands, right? I was like, no, I did not know that. And he goes, Japan, he says, Tokyo is an entirely separate island. It says, you have to take the bullet train to get to Tokyo. So I'm like, okay. He's like, yeah, the bullet train's upstairs. Like, fucking, God be with you. You impossible moron. God be with you. So it's like, alright. So I go up there, and I'm like, okay, I'll just take the bullet train. First and foremost, the fucking ticket for the bullet train cost me like $550 by itself. So instantly my savings were fucking evaporated before my eyes. The $20 whole I saved by taking the wrong ferry. But I finally, the bullet train, I'm like, okay, I'll be on the bullet train for like 20 minutes or some shit like that. It's the fastest form of public transportation on planet Earth. And it is. However, it stops every 5 seconds so that it can lock somebody off. You know, it can go ahead and let somebody off at their stop. So it took me 8 McFucking hours to get from Tokyo down to, from Fukuoka down to Tokyo. It's a gigantic pain in the ass. Then I had no plan. It's like, okay, now we're in Tokyo, period, end. You know. It's like, write the story, and then they lived happily ever after. Like that was the vacation plan. Fucking bad plan. Well, there was no plan. There was no plan. There was no plan whatsoever. It was just me being really fucking stupid. Which is the problem 100% of the time for 100% of my life. So we managed to connect, my friends and I, we managed to connect with each other over Messenger and everything. Because unless you have like a satellite phone or some crazy phone plan, like back in the day, there wasn't any way of communicating. It's like, AT&T cell towers aren't out there in Tokyo, man. It just doesn't happen. It's like they have their own companies. So, like I went on the New Sonic Hotel's Wi-Fi and managed to catch them on Messenger whenever they were in an internet cafe. And they came down, met me at the New Sonic Hotel. I signed them in and everything as guests. Everything was gravy. But I just didn't have a plan. I had no plan from there. So, thankfully, one of my besties took over. The gigantic weave that had nothing to complain about, even after he had to pay for his own plane ticket and all of his food the entire time he was in Japan. He had nothing to complain about, and he just went ahead and took over. He had a bunch of different sights and sounds that he wanted to see in the great land of Japan, and we just, the rest of us, me and my other best friend at the time, we just tottered on after him. It was like World of Warcraft, dude. We just hit /follow and like turned our brains off. So this man took us to the Odaibo Island, where they have the gigantic Gundam. Don't ask me which one. I only watched Gundam Wing because it came on Toonami every now and again. So we saw the giant Gundam out there on Odaibo Island. We got a peek at Sega Land, even though we couldn't afford to go there. At least we saw like the outside of the building. Same with Konami headquarters at the time. We got a peek at that. It was neat to see from the outside. A bunch of other little sights and sounds here and there. So, you know, the jig is up, and I just go ahead and tell one of my best friends at the time. I said, you know, like, hey, you know, you might have noticed, but I don't really have a plan here. I'm not really the expert at all. And we've been following around my other friend the entire time. And so I was just like, you know, I've got no plans right now. Buddy boy, the weeb, has ran out of shit to see. He saw everything that's on his bucket list out here. Said, do you have any requests? And he goes, yeah, I've never been to a club. It's like, fuck me, why do you want to go to a club, man? And he's just like, I've never been to a club. And he's like, I want to see what all the fuss is about. Like, fuck. So we head out to this club in Japan. He had like seen an advertisement for it or something. So we go out to this club. There's like EDM music on one level of the club. It's 3 levels. EDM music on one level of the club, rap on one level of the club, and like house on another level of the club. And it was just this big bumping ridiculous nonsense. And of course, it's, you know, it's insert Asian country here, so there's approximately 1 trillion fucking people in the club. Like, you can barely fucking, you know, walk anywhere, much less, like, dance or whatever. And that's not my bag, baby, in the first place, you know. Austin Powers reference. So I was just like, I don't know what the fuck is going on here. So I just waited around, just sat there, I did whatever, and finally I just waited for my friends to tire themselves out. And this trip was mainly for them anyways, right? So then, like, finally, we're, like, ready to go. We all just, like, gathered together. And this one, like, Nigerian guard comes up to us, and he just, like, decides that we're easy pickings. And he just, like, he goes, what the fuck are you looking at? And my tiny little friend was just like, it's like, nothing. And he's like, I will fuck you up. And my friend was just like, okay, sorry. He's like, I'll fucking kick your ass. I'll do it right here. It's like, I'll kick you and your friend's ass, and pointed to my other friend. My other friend's just like, oh, you know, leave me out of this. He just made like a gesture. He's like, oh my God, you know, what's going on here? And then he's just like, he goes, he points to me and he goes, are you with these punks? And, you know, I'm used to dealing with these types of guys. I'm not a tough guy or anything. And I just said, are you all right? It's like, are you okay, man? He goes, yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. Just like acts offended. You know, my friends are just like, I think we should go. And it was already like past midnight, and apparently the subways in Japan shut down after a certain point in time. At least they do in Tokyo. And we had to get all the fuck way back to the hotel with our LPCs, our little personnel carriers, our feet. We just had to walk it and to hoof it. Frick. He nearly got me too. Did you see that? Did a hefty amount of damage before I was able to take him down. There's one of those that are even worse in the next section. Anyway, that was my trip to Japan. Did you like it? I could take it or leave it. They always call Korea poor man's Japan, and I disagree with that. I disagree with that 100%. For anybody, for any reason. If you have to choose between going to Japan or going to Korea, I would absolutely tell you to choose Korea for any given reason. Yeah, I'm biased. I was in Korea for 3 whole years of my life. However, it's cheaper, it's more fun, the people are more welcoming, less rude. More of them speak English to you. I want to make that very clear. In my experience, Japan, it was very unwelcoming, and it was still very xenophobic. And even though they profit off of the tourism and whatnot, they do not appreciate tourists. And so there's a lot of them that know English. They just don't want to speak it to you because you're a tourist. And then if you speak Japanese to them, you prick. I might be able to track him down. It looked like he died down there. I might be able to track him down. But, yeah, they still don't like tourists. They profit off of tourists, but after your money leaves your hands, they don't want you there anymore. And, if you speak English to them, they'll act like they can't speak English. If you speak Japanese to them, they'll act like they don't understand you. They don't like us. They don't like tourists at all. That was my experience. Maybe you had a different experience with Japan or whatever. That was my fucking experience. And I guarantee that if you go to Japan and you go to Korea and you spend a decent amount of time in both countries, I can almost fucking 100% guarantee or your money back that you will have a much better time in Korea. It's just the truth. And you're going to obviously spend a whole shitload of less money on it. So not only was I stationed in Korea for about 2.5 years, give or take, but also I was, I went back to Korea. In 2013, I went back to Korea. I had just gone through a foreclosure and a bankruptcy, and I needed a cheaper place to live. Now, my major wasn't sociology at the time, but it was a big passion. My major wasn't sustainability at the time, but it was the subject of a lot of my sociology studies. So what I wanted to do was actually go down to Dancing Rabbit Eco Village in Rutledge, Missouri, and join them. Dancing Rabbit Eco Village in Rutledge, Missouri is a place where the people there on average will live on less than $3,000 a year. And I thought that was ridiculous and incredible. And I've been down there, and I saw, I've seen the place. I've done many different tours of the area. I've studied a lot of what they've done. I've talked to a lot of their people, and they're an incredible place. They're an absolutely incredible place. And can you just imagine being in the United McFucking States of America? In Missouri. I grew up here in Illinois. In Missouri, one state over, and they're magically living on $3,000 a year. So what's the catch, right? What are they sacrificing to live on, $3,000 a year? And that's the thing. They're sacrificing jack and shit. They have Wi-Fi for the entire village. They've got the internet. They've got electricity. They've got everything. They've got everything that you would expect in a modern day. Some of them even have toilets that flush. That's right. Running water, indoor plumbing, everything that you could possibly want or need, they have it. They're living in Missouri. But they've managed to do a bunch of different things. First and foremost, whenever they put the place together, there was 16 of them. And I couldn't even imagine having 16 friends fucking period, let alone 16 friends that will all move out to an area to themselves, combine their money together so that they could all invest in, making a brand new town from scratch, essentially. Helped each other build every single structure. So, of course, whenever you've got a bunch of volunteers, as the Egyptians would tell you, slave labor works. But, it's that sort of thing, They help each other build their houses, stuff like that. And that's the thing, back in the day, it used to take a village. And now you're trying to replace the labor of a lot of people with money. And it just doesn't make any sense. Money isn't people. Money is not people. And it doesn't matter how many NFTs that you gather out of nowhere. You can say, I can pay people to do X, Y, Z, and look around. Look around at all of the different companies that are hiring, and nobody's fucking working for them. If you think that you can pay people to do X, Y, Z with 59 NFTs that are worth several $1 million and everything, you're going to find out that you're wrong. You can't pay people to do those things. They're not willing to work for you. Not anymore. So let's go ahead and kill these harmless people that are not bothering us in any way, shape, or form. As you do. Remember, somebody loves you for your money. They don't love you. So your next question might be, what the fuck is going on? Why is this level alive? Why is everything a bunch of mutated evil creatures and whatnot? What's happening in this game? What the fuck is happening? Am I losing my mind? And the answer to those questions is, man, I don't know. Sorry. Sorry, you know. I have no idea. This place is alive. There's like a demon and stuff. I don't know. Like watch Vati video or something on YouTube. He can give you the lowdown on the lore and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's a Japanese video game. Expect weird shit. So, oh, are you trying to say that Japanese people are weird? No, I'm not saying that Japanese people are weird, but I'm saying that if you're looking at this through the eyes of a Western audience, then it's going to look a little strange because it's from a different country. Those are the facts. So yeah, I don't know what the fuck is going on, man. Anywho. We're about at the end of this world. And you know what that means? Whenever we're about at the end of level 3-2, that means we're about at the end of world 3. You prick. As you can see, the enemy, the antagonist to every Dark Souls game, the primary antagonist to every single From Software title is the camera. 100% of the time, that's the bad guy. That's the thing that's trying to kill you more than anything else. It's the fucking camera. I promise you, this is a thread that will carry from place to place, from game to game. Anything produced by this company will have a camera that is trying to kill you, and is trying really hard. It's like the Final Destination series of movies. Like, the concept of death is trying to kill them in every single movie. Now, in From Software games, it's the camera. Now that the heart's down here, this place is open. Lots of these little guys. Some of these bigger guys. As you can see, they kind of look like they're gonna die, and then they'll poop out their fucking tail, and then they'll just keep on going. So at the end of the day, what is the whatchamacallit? Like, what's going on here? Like, what's the theme? What's the motif? Well, it's Lovecraftian. The god of Demon Souls is called the Old One. King of Lance woke the Old One. It's Lovecraftian. It's cosmic horror. What it does to places is terrifying to behold, and it doesn't make any sense. And so that's the primary motif here. Not every single thing has its own little like storyline and everything. It's not like, oh, crazy, multi-headed centipede creatures, they represent this, that, and the other. No, this is not a Silent Hill game. The multi-headed half-man, half-centipede enemies in this game does not represent my player character's suppressed lust because of his sick wife or something like that. No, nothing like that. No. Nope. It's Lovecraftian. It is Lovecraftian in design. It is Lovecraftian in experience. Whole kit and caboodle. So yeah, they pull with that what they wish. Whatever comes out of the dark recesses of their mind, it's fine by them. So here's our man. Here's our man up yonder. We can get this while we wait. Ah, he fucking turned around. I don't know his patrol. I don't know where his patrol begins and ends. Okay, so he turns around there. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Take that, you prick. That's what you gotta do to him. If you let him spot you, he's gonna fucking laser you to oblivion. If you get too close, he's gonna fucking paralyze you and suck your brains out. If you get way too close, he's gonna do an area of effect attack. Any of these things can also push you off of the edge of that gigantic spiral staircase. It is no good. The whole situation is no bueno. So you gotta wait until he turns around, and you gotta go up, give him a nice, clean, fierce concho. Just give him all you got, roll at once. Whee! Got any other goodies for me? I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. There ain't no other bad guys. Ah. Hooray! Yeah, this is where all the spice is. Spice restores your MP. It's like World 3 has like a monopoly on all of the MP restoration items in this fucking game. Alrighty, well, we are coming up against the hour mark. Maybe I can go in there and beat the bosses in under 6 minutes, but probably not. So, instead, I'm going to end this video. We'll pick up where we left off the next time that we get a chance, and we'll go ahead and finish out World 3. For me, for now, I got to head outside and break my back trying to get more wood for this fire before the damn thing goes out. So, I guess I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.